and we'll get started. Is there anything in particular that anybody wants to work on today?
I mentioned about the getting up in that chair.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Um, we talked about, well, we did some seated work last week,
Mhm.
and Miss Barbara shared about getting out of a chair and what physical therapy shared in terms of how to get out of a chair, especially if it doesn't have arms. So, you might need help pushing yourself up, but to push yourself up from right here and in between your legs, right there, can be helpful, right?
Mhm. Yes, ma'am.
So there we go. We have a tip. Um, we getting up in and out of a chair is something that we take for granted for so long. We just
Yeah.
always be able to do that. That it's just, I mean, it's something that we don't really think about. And I've taught before, well, probably not to y'all, but I teach a bingo size class and it's for falls prevention. And we talk about rails, handrails on stairs.
Mhm.
And, I don't have handrails on the stairs at my house. It never occurred to me whenever we built our house to put handrails there because we didn't need them. But the more I teach about falls prevention and the more I'm around older people who have that need, the more I'm like, oh, wow, that might be something we need to look into is installing handrails on the stairs to get into my own house. So, anyway, always thinking about falls prevention and what we need to help keep ourselves stable. And that's one of the motivators of why we do Tai Chi is falls prevention, but it also helps with the pain from arthritis. It helps with stiffness. It helps with general mobility. Uh, just balance and coordination by strengthening our muscles in movement. And one of the things that we do that helps strengthen muscles is transferring weight from one leg to another and holding weight on one leg while we move or do something with the other leg. And because we're doing something with this other leg, it prolongs the time that weight is on one leg and it makes those muscles stronger because we're doing it all the movements slow and oh no, what's that?
Sorry.
It sounds like an emergency.
Sorry.
um, so that's the whole premise behind why we do Tai Chi and strengthening our muscles for balance and coordination. Slow, smooth, continuous weight transfer. Because we do everything slow, we're on one leg longer. So, I teach you the movements of this program, but it's nice to go and like explain like why they're done that way. And whenever you understand the why, and it makes sense and it motivates you more to do it. And we should always be lifelong learners, like the eternal 5-year old that says, why? If you've been around 5-year olds, then they have a lot of questions. They want to understand things, and that's because they want to learn. And so I want to provide you with that information. So I'm going to turn my heater up a little bit. I think there's a battle going on. There's a really cool air coming out of this vent, and it's making me cold. All right, so here we go, starting with our warm-ups. We get in our stable stance, meaning we have our feet about shoulder width apart. We have good posture. Our shoulders are relaxed. A soft bend in our knee. Our weight's on both legs. We're breathing. No tension. We're not starting with tension, and anywhere along the way, we're not going to grab any tension. It usually happens when we raise our hands up. We'll grab some tension in our shoulders and then not release it. So let's start with our neck, bringing our hands up, palms down, turn and pull them towards our chin and chest. Push away and then follow those hands all the way down, chin to chest. When we bring our hands in, tuck your chin in slightly and then release it. And that helps engage the cervical part of our spine, that top part that's in our neck. As I go through these movements, I'm inhaling, completely filling my lungs with air, and then exhaling, completely emptying my lungs. Now let's do our other neck exercise, following our hand, or our hand, as we look towards that shoulder, going side to side. Working on the mobility of our neck. And I always think of driving when I think of my neck being mobile and able to look and see if anything's over there so I can change lanes, or anything behind me so I can back out of my parking spot. Some cars have cameras, but you don't want to always rely on those cameras. There still sometimes will be a blind spot. Let's roll our shoulders, starting by rolling our shoulders forward. And then rolling our shoulders back. So today is week 10 of our series. We have 16 total classes. Now our shoulder circles, where we bring our hands up, palms up, turn and push them down in front of us. It's a gathering and feeling move. So we gather sunshine and we fill our souls with it. That's my best wording. You can use a lot of different words there. But oh, how I love the sunshine. One more. Now for our spine, we have our ball here, our hands facing each other. We're going to separate our hands. One hand pushes up and the other pushes down. Thinking about that spine stretching. Thinking about separating the heavens and the earth. Bring it back to our ball and then switching. And we talked last week about how if you have some problems with your shoulders, then you can make this movement smaller for you by staying right here. So if you take and like you're pulling a string and think about stretching your spine right here, switch and pull right there, then you don't have to worry about pulling that or reaching that shoulder and hand above your head, and you can still have your spinal stretch. So we did this at our training a couple of weeks ago, and I thought it was amazing how we can stay small and still have such a large stretch. So that's pretty cool to try it, even if you have good shoulder mobility, to try that movement that way. Now let's take our ball from side to side. So we stop above our knee, come across, and stop above that other knee. So we do everything pretty small in Tai Chi. It's just a short turn from side to side. This movement right here is much like our waving hands in clouds movement. Our hips stay forward, our knees stay forward. It's a short trip. Our hands are just going along for the ride as we turn our bodies. And I know we've mentioned before, our head isn't turning, our head's just attached to our body, so it's going along for the ride too. Back to center. Now for our lower body. So this is when it gets a little complicated, especially when it comes to our muscle strength of our legs. So we might want to have our wall nearby, our chair, a table that won't move if we rely on it for balance. Skipping the hand movements if you need to hold on to something. Shifting the weight to one leg. We're going to place our heel forward and our hands back. So we have some modifications offered there so that you take care of yourself. Listen to your body, because this is very challenging. It's also challenging for our brain to have our hands forward when our foot is back. That's cross-lateral movement, and that's good for our brains. I mean, exercise just in itself is good for our brains. But you know that when you would, what was it, pat your head and rub your belly? That's a challenge for your brain. We like our brain to be challenged. To an extent. Sometimes we overwhelm our brain. And that's too many things going on. I think that's what I get wrapped up in. Too many tabs open, like on your computer. So you really feel those leg muscles working as they hold your body upright and you move that other leg back to center. So we're going to shift weight again, take our hands in the direction of the weight shift, and then tap that toe out. Staying within our frame. Notice that I'm not going any further than my frame. I'm not going to lean and go way out here. I remain upright and go in the direction of the weight shift. So I know our tendency is to want to make everything big, but that's not what we do in Tai Chi. It's small. And don't think that you're not doing anything just because it's small. You're doing a lot because it is small. Concentrates that movement. You know, sometimes I have a hard time slowing down. And so when that happens, I have to pretend I'm in slow motion. Ironically, I am going in slow motion, but pretending makes it happen. All right, loose fists down by our hips. We're going to warm up with our knees, shifting weight to one leg, lift and tapping a toe out, and punching that opposite hand. Remember to keep that soft bend in your elbow to not fully extend that arm. So we're getting in the practice of not locking our joints, which allows that energy to flow. It's called a song joint, S-O-N-G. Reminding you to breathe. All right, now let's step out. Let's scoot back a little bit. So we're going to step out. We're going to shift weight to this front foot. We're going to keep both feet flat on the floor as we shift weight, punching the opposite hand, bringing it back, feet side by side. So now we have a shift to the side, step, shift forward, shift back, feet side by side. It's one of my favorites because of all the weight shifting in one move. Practicing our upright posture, slow, smooth, continuous. Of course, our weight transfer. All right, now for our ankles. Shifting weight to one leg and then rocking the other foot, heel, toe, heel, toe. Back, shifting the weight, and the other foot, heel, toe, heel, toe. Shifting the weight, big toe, little toe, side to side. Helps work out some mobility and stiffness in our ankles. We know how important our ankle strength and movability is to help support us and help us recover from any imbalance. All right, so those are our warm-ups. And for those of y'all who weren't on the class last week, just to show you, this is what the poster looks like for the warm-up. And if you see, there's the ones for the neck, shoulders, spine, knees, hips, knees, and ankles. And then down here is our cool downs where we punch our legs, gather tension, and then do the shoulder circle. So because you're familiar with them, the wording shouldn't get you kind of messed up. But that's what the poster looks like. That's coming to you. I just bought a frame from Walmart and put them in there. You don't have to do that. I used to carry these around and it just made it easier to keep them nice. But then the actual movements, it looks the same way. And that takes you through commencement, open, close, single whip, waving hands and clouds, all the way through to the advanced 6 as well. So I say things a certain way. Dr. Lamb says it a different way. So something may help and speak to you. Whenever I first started, I would do a few things that would help me remember. First, I would put on a piece of paper the names of the movements in order, and I would just put them on the wall. That way my brain didn't have to think what was next, what was next, what was next, or which direction. So I would put, single whip, right, waving hands and clouds, right. And I would just write it on a paper and put it on the wall. And that's how I would practice. And then I was able to get the posters, and then I would just have them in front of me to remind me of any movements that I needed reminded on how to do that. And so that's just one way to practice. Just like I have our movements to waving hands and clouds up here on the wall. That's something I think I'll always have. I have the little piece of paper right here in front of me, and I just find it to be helpful. that's six turns we do, or 6 steps that we do, but because we turn last after that step, then I count the turns, and that's helped me keeping track of how many I've done, which is 6. And so that was just, y'all might not struggle with that, but that was something I always struggled with, was how many have I done? All right, so oh gosh, it just said my internet is unstable. Am I breaking up?
You froze on mine for a minute, but you came back.
That is weird because
Just went in still motion.
I am literally plugged into the wall. That is weird. I love technology. I mean, I love technology. All right, well, y'all let me know if something is going bad, but it's not popped up there anymore, so maybe we won't have any more problems. Just because it's plugged in the wall doesn't mean there's never any problems, but usually it's the Wi-Fi that gets kind of whirly. So that's why I stay in here and have it plugged in so I don't have to worry about Wi-Fi. All right, so we're going to go through our moves, starting with commencement, okay? And we know commencement is a step forward. We know this is our first opportunity that when we place a foot forward, because we shift right and place that left foot out, that's an empty step, and that's our rule when stepping in Tai Chi. So this is our first chance to empty step, then transfer the weight. It's also our first opportunity to match up weight shift to hand movement. So that very first shift, okay, we bring our hands up, our hands come down, and we shift down on this right leg. So the hand movement goes down, and the weight goes down on this right leg. So connecting hand movement with weight shift. We do it there, then we place that left foot out. We bring our hands in and up. Now we're going to do it again, where our hands go out and our weight shifts forward. So see, we're going in the same direction with weight shift and our hands. Bring that right foot forward, hands come back, and then open and close. Here we go from the top. So commence. Hands come up, down, shift right. Place that left foot out. Hands come in and up. Shift left as those hands go out. Right foot forward, hands come back. Now open and close. Now single whip. Here's another opportunity for hands to go with the weight shift. We're going to the right. We shift left. We step right. So that's an empty step. And then when we adjust our weight or give weight to that right foot, we take our hands out. Then we turn and we separate those hands. Our head follows our left hand, which is always opposite of the foot that stepped out. With our whips, our eyes and head follow the hand opposite of the foot that steps out. That's a rule that you can remember, that if you're in a single whip moment and you go step and then you go, okay, which one am I supposed to follow with my head? Then you go, oh, opposite of the foot that stepped out. So have that moment of which one, and then you'll know because you remember that rule. It's the rule in our part 1. It's a rule in our part 2. All right, so there's that. It's shift left, place that right foot out, adjust weight as our hands go out, turn our hands and separate. So our eyes and head follow our left hand. That's single whip. Then our waving hands and clouds. We shift to our left leg. We bring our right foot, right hand back, and we're ready to go Wave hands and clouds with our 4 words. Step, switch, turn, shift, step, switch, turn. Remember, we're going 6. So here is 3, 4, 5, and 6. And we come to the middle for open and close. Now single whip. The other way. Shift right, place left, adjust weight. Turn, separate. Eyes follow our right hand this time. Shift right, bring that left foot, left hand back. Waving hands in clouds to the left. Step, switch, turn. Shift, step, switch, turn. Shift, step, switch, turn. Shift, step, switch, turn. You know what number we're on?
3.
I asked because I lost track. Open and close. Thank you, Mr. Rogers. And there is our part 1. So we're going to do it all. I'm going to face you, then I'm going to turn around. Here we go. From the top. And commence. Open, close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. And close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. Open, close, and close it out. All right. Here we go from the back. Remember, we go to the right, and then we go to the left. So I'll start from this side. And commence. Open, close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. Open, close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. Open, close. So as you do waving hands in clouds, think about staying within your frame, okay? And when I say stay within your frame, it's as if you went to the Hobby Lobby and had a perfect frame built for you. So it would be like this. So when I take that turn, I get to the edge of that frame, right? And when I switch my hands, I think about staying on that same line as that frame. And then I come back across and I stay in that same line as that frame. And maybe that can help you to think about the edge of that frame. Helps keep you from going way over here, way too far. You want to just stay within your frame. And that's so you don't hurt your spine, start pulling your knee as you turn. You know, your hips will stay forward. It's just your torso that slightly moves side to side. And you switch at the frame in that same line. Okay. Let's practice it one more time both ways, and then we'll start working on our advanced 6, unless y'all have any questions. So let me know after this if you have any questions. And commence. Open, close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. Open, close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. Open, close. Hopefully you're finding yourself more and more comfortable with these movements. And it just takes time and practice. And commence. Open, close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. Open, close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. Open, close. And close it out. Anybody have any questions about our basic 6 moves?
Yes, I have one. When you do single whip,
refresh my memory. Is your back foot, is the heel flat or can it come up off the ground?
No, all of your weight, when you do your single whip, you shift all of your weight to one leg. You place one foot out.
Right. When you place it out, what about the back one now? Does that come up any?
Yeah, all of your weights is on this back foot whenever you place that one out.
Okay.
And then you adjust weight. And so when I say adjust weight, that means you're having weight on both feet now.
But no heel, and your heel is not up. Does it come up at all, your heel? No.
No.
Okay.
You shift the weight, you're grounded in this leg, you place that heel forward, and then you adjust weight. So you're grounded on both feet right now. So both feet are flat on the floor.
Okay.
And then whenever it's time to come back and do waving hands and clouds, you shift the weight to that back foot again, and then pull this foot back so that you can step out.
All right.
So thank you for asking, because I know you can't always see things on the virtual class. It's sometimes details are hard to see.
Right.
But yeah, you keep your heel down. Any other questions? All right. Well, if they come up, just let me know. Don't feel like you have to wait until I ask. Next, we're going to start going over our advanced 6 movements, starting with brush knee. Now, brush knee, our advanced movements go to the left and then they go to the right. So our goal with brush knee is to go from facing forward to facing to the left without a jump. We have to do some weight shifting with our feet. And the way that we do that is we start here. We're coming from open and close, right? From our basic 6, our weights on both legs, our feet are about shoulder width, hip width apart. We're going to shift weight to our left leg, and we're going to turn that right toe in. Now, when I think about turning that right toe in, I think of that right toe as my arrow that's saying we're going that way. And shift, arrow. Okay? So our hands are here from open and close. We shift left, we arrow our right foot. So technically, all of our weight is on this left leg. If you needed to give your right leg some weight for the sake of balance and safety, that's fine. But in theory, all our weight goes to our left foot and we turn that right toe in. So all weight is here. All right. Now we're going to give all of our weight to our right foot. And when we give that, when we give that weight to our right foot, we reach our right hand out and our left hand comes and hovers on our elbow as if to protect our elbow. So our hands look like this up close. We go from hands facing each other to here. And we do that when we shift the weight to that right foot. So it's shift left, right toe in, shift right and reach. So now there's no weight on this left leg because we gave all of our weight to that right leg. So again, it's shift left, right toe in, shift right and reach. Now we're going to bring that left foot in and our left hand is going to come to our hip. So we're preparing to step. So from the top, we shift left, right toe in, shift right and reach, left foot, left hand back. Or I like to call it separate and prepare. What are we preparing to do? We're preparing to step. And that's the next step. We step out left. And remember, anytime we step in Tai Chi, it's an empty step. We don't immediately give it weight. We first just lay that foot there, then we're going to give it weight. But always our step is empty. And so just practice that. And the best way to practice it to start off with is through that waving hands in clouds, Tai Chi walking to the side, where we place that foot out, then give it weight. Place that foot in, then give it weight. Right? So shift, follow step. Shift, follow step. Okay? Practice that with the empty step. But back to our brush knee. From the top, shift left, right toe in, shift right and reach. Bring that left foot, left hand back. Step. Now we're ready to do something with this right hand. We're going to turn this right hand. And we're going to shift left as we push that right hand. And then follow step right. So now we're facing to the left. Now, something that feels weird about that movement is typically when we walk or when we step, we would step left, shift, and then when it's time to step right, we would step forward. But that's not the case in this movement. And that's one reason why it feels weird, is because we step, shift, and then when we follow step, it's still behind. The whole time our body stays upright, okay? From the top of brush knee, shift left, right toe in. Shift right and reach. Separate, prepare. Place left. Turn this right hand. Shift left as I push and follow step. So from the front, this is what it looks like when I finish. My left hand is by my hip. My right hand is pushed, but I still have that soft bend. So I didn't extend my arm all the way out. I pushed, left that soft bend. Again, brush knee, shift left, right toe in, shift right and reach, separate, prepare, step left, turn this right hand, shift left as I push right, and follow step right. So you see what I did with that right foot? I want you to watch that right foot, just how slight the movement is, because we really want everything to be so big in life, and we just think of stepping in such a big way that's one reason why this is challenging. But footwork of brush knee, watch my feet, shift left, right toe in, shift right, separate, prepare, step, watch this right foot, shift, and follow step. So I basically picked it up, finished the turn, and put it back down. I really didn't step what we think of as a step. So that is brush knee. Questions about that move? Just making sure my wording or explanation didn't go in the wrong direction. I just think it's a difficult move because we changed directions. So brush knee again. Shift left, right toe in, shift right and reach, separate, prepare, step left, bring this right hand ready and push as I shift and follow step right. So that's the end of brush knee. Play the loop, pretty easy. In our advanced 6, when we follow step, of course, we don't give it weight, but it's our next step. So we're going to take this right foot and we're going to step back. So we just ended brush knee. When we play the loop, our next step, we step back. See, it's a very slight step. When we step back, it's an empty step, but also what we do with our hands is this. I'll say turn hands. It goes from here, one hand's down by my hip. This hand is out, like stop in the name of love. And when I step back, they're going to turn. They're going to both turn inwards because what they're going to do is pass each other. And you know, we've talked about energy and acupuncture points of our hands and the importance of those passing each other. And so this is one opportunity where our hands will pass. So from the front, it looks like this. I step back, turn hands. And when I shift to that right foot, my hands pass. And when I get to my elbow, I follow step left. All right, so let me show you that. So I'm finished with brush knee, play the loop. Step back right, turn hands, shift right as they pass. I get to my elbow and I follow step left. Put it together. Brush knee, shift left, right toe in, shift right and reach, separate, prepare, step left, turn my right hand, shift left as I push and follow step right. Play the loop. Step back right, turn hands, shift as they pass, follow step left. Got it?
Yeah.
All right. So the next step is parry, parry, punch. And so I think parry, parry, punch is kind of a rhythm thrown off, but there's some stepping. All right, I'm going to come towards you. So I just did play the loop. Now I'm ready to parry, punch. So I'm going to step left, shift left, step right, shift right, step left, shift, and then follow step right. So my foot, let me show you from the side. I go step left, shift, step right, shift, step left, shift, and follow step. It's called parry punch or parry and punch, but I like to say parry, parry, and punch because that's the movement. We just finished play the loop. Here's parry, parry, and punch. Step and flip, shift and parry. So parry, parry, and whoops, I think I messed that one up. Hold on. Let me go from brush knee, play the loop. I was off on the wrong foot. Parry, parry, and punch. So that's why I like to say the words, if not out loud, I like to say them in my head because there's something to do when I say the words. Parry, parry, and punch. That's what's happening with our hands. All right, so we'll pick this up. Not next week, because next week I have farmers market training. So what I would like for you to do is to practice your part one, and specifically those first two moves of your basic six, the first two moves of your advanced six, and be ready to tackle that parry, parry, and punch. It's a challenging move, but then we're home free after that. We just go block and close, where we step back and our hands are here, and then we push the tiger, we step and our hands come up, and then we go back to the front for open and close. So brush knee and parry and punch, they're our most challenging moves in advanced six. So again, no class next week because I have to go to farmers market training. But I will be available if you need me. I'm not like going out of the country or anything like that. I just have training all day. Any questions before we cool down? All right, let's give ourselves a nice fist massage of our legs. And there will be the full 16 classes, so don't worry about that. I just have to cancel from time to time. Typically, it's for work. It's not for pleasure. All right, now let's gather tension and then let it go, because we don't want to live with tension, do we? Gather and release. Gather, release. Big shoulder circle. Gather, sun, feel your soul. Gather that sun, feel your soul. One more. We have our right fist representing our strength, our left fingers together representing our friendship, and our thumb in our humility. And we put those together in mutual respect, and we say namaste. So we doing it, y'all. We're learning lots of things. And it's okay if you feel awkward. It's okay if you feel like, I'm not really getting this, but okay. That's okay. I've been doing it for years. I still have things to learn. I still make mistakes. I still feel out of sorts sometimes. And it just takes a lot of time and practice. So be patient with yourself, and we'll just keep on going over it, okay?
Okay.
All right. Well, I love
Okay.
y'all, and I'll see y'all in 2 weeks, okay?
Bye-bye.
Okay, me too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.